Nobody, because nobody's here. Nobody in the.
And you know what? That's okay. Let's see here. Because I have a lot of stuff to do this morning. And I normally wouldn't even turn on the camera, but people are still requesting, want to see the full routine in the mornings. First thing I would do is the water usually, but you know what I'm going to do? I have a few dishes here. Doesn't really matter, but I'm going to do a few quick dishes, and then we'll do the water routine. And that way people get to see how to clean the water, though I've shown it probably multiple times. And then we'll do breakfast. We'll make the breakfast hydrogen superpower smoothie. But I had an idea. Oh, good morning. I'm the first one here. Woohoo, Dana Mitchell, you win. You win the secret prize. I actually have an idea possibly today. It's gonna be interesting. Maybe it'll like totally flop and be a terrible idea. Maybe it'll be fun. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I'm gonna wait for at least a few. The challenge is here. Everybody's here. Well, a little early. I normally do some of these things before I start the camera, which is like dishes. Actually, I normally try to do them at nighttime before, so I can wake up in the morning to a clean kitchen. But looks like somebody did make. I really wanted to share it. Somebody made me a very interesting, quite healthy dessert, and it was very unique. It was a total experiment, and the crazy part is what it tasted like, because if you guys like rum raisin ice cream, it literally tasted like rum raisin, like pudding of sorts, but it was with koji, like some type of koji yamazake. It's like it's what they also use, I believe, to make sake. You know, the Japanese alcohol from rice. So you had that like kind of alcohol flavor with raisins in it, but it was rich in enzymes, which is really good for your digestion, and which obviously helps clean. You know, I like to keep my bowels really clean. I know that's probably too much information, but you know what? You know, the human body, I mean, it's going to be hard to have conversations about it and health if you're not able or willing to talk about certain things that maybe some people are like, too much information. But, you know, it's so important. So important for your bowels to be maintained, as maybe I would call it, because they're connected to the brain and, you know, the absorption of your nutrients. And there's a lot going on there, including almost 80% of our immune system, guys, is in our flipping bowels. That's a lot. I mean, that's a lot. And so anyway, that dessert, I almost did a video on it, and I was like, let me just try it first. And I tried it. I was like, oh my gosh. Because my friend was telling me, like, this tastes like rum raisin. And I was like, no way. Like, you want me to make you one? And I was like, sure. Okay, well, I think there's enough people in the room. I guess maybe we will play a game. Let me know if you guys are open to a game or you just want to be spectators. Just watch my morning routine. I mean, it's like, I was going to say, you know, I was just about to say, well, it's like anybody's morning routine, right? You get up but no, it's not, probably. I mean, I just woke up and I didn't turn on the camera, obviously, because what I did is I drank my hydrogen water first after I brushed my teeth. Obviously, I always go and brush my teeth. I have a little bottle of, I never use toothpaste in the morning because I know I'm going to drink water right afterwards. And I have kind of a special toothbrush just for mornings. And then I brush my teeth. And then I got a little spray bottle with distilled water. See, the carbon distilled water is so useful. Well, okay. I guess everybody, when I said let's play a game, everybody left. That's funny. So use a little spray bottle because it's mixed with essential oils and just kind of freshen up your mouth in the morning. Then I drink. Today I did just shy of a liter. I didn't do quite a liter today, which is no big deal. I mean, I usually try to do about a liter, but once in a while I don't. Okay, let me show you guys how I do my morning routine in regards to cleaning water. So what I do is, obviously here's a carbon distiller, and I pull out where we put the water. Now, you can put tap water, you can put any kind of water in the carbon distiller, and it's going to clean it. The thing is, though, is that the carbon distiller does get buildup because it's cleaning off all the impurities, and this thing is pressurized. This is why there's a knob here. and I gotta twist it until I feel it come relatively loose, and then take it out. Now I'm gonna put, just because I have access to it, I have reverse osmosis water also. I have all sorts of water filtration differences, but reverse osmosis is not good enough. But I'm gonna let that do that thing. And while it's doing that, the other thing I do is I left the carbon distiller on at night. So I have water in the mornings. That's always, I think you guys are getting the pattern for those who watch regularly, but I'm kind of showing you my routine, and it doesn't take very long. And water world. Well, I guess we don't realize how important water is to our health. And it's not just water. I mean, it's water and air. I'm actually, well, I won't even go into the details, but I am, I look at air quality, and I'm going to follow the air and the water. And what I mean by that is, for a long time, I've been wondering, where do I want to live? And I'm going to follow the air and the water. I'm not going to be following like, oh, this has a good school, or this has a that, I don't follow any of that stuff. Like, oh, this has lower crime rate, and I'm sure those things are important, but I'm going to follow the water. And then I'm going to add 1 drop of minerals to stabilize it a little bit, because that's where the distilled water is going to fall into. The other one now is almost full. So let's hurry up and go over here. Oh, let's see, almost full. Give that a second. And the last thing you want to do is let this thing overfull. The reason I don't like to let it, I mean, you could dump it out and stuff. The reason I don't like to let it, and there's a little line in here if you guys want to see. Let's see if I can show you. I don't know if you can see it though. See that metal line right here? It's at the very bottom. When the water touches it, that's when you know it's where it needs to be. And then I like to dry off the top personally. And by using the reverse osmosis water, I don't have to use the carbon part of the distiller. And if you use tap water, then you would. And then you tighten that up, just snug. I like to dry off the bottom because it was sitting in the sink, so I put on this towel right here. And then let's carry it over here. It's kind of tough with the one hand because this thing's full of water. And you know what I gotta say? It's awkward. It's not the shape of it. It's, to hold it with one hand, I mean, I have the strength to do it, but it's awkward. If it was shaped differently, I had an older one. I have another one that's old. Still works though, but I wanted to get the upgraded one. And that one is less awkward actually, but it doesn't seal as good. So now I just put this here, and this is what I do in the mornings, just fire it up, So that's how easy that is. So now I have clean water. And of course, at that point, you can add hydrogen. The cleaner the water, the cleaner the distiller stays, and also the cleaner the hydrogen machine stays. So I mean, it's just good, it's good for me. And that's pretty much the morning routine. I mean, that's how easy it is. Beyond that, we get to the hydrogen natural smoothie, and that's where we begin every morning, as you guys are observing. And what a glorious morning it is, because I'm happy. It's a good morning for me. I'm happy today. Not necessarily happy every day, right? We can't be happy every day, I guess, but we can try. All right, let's play a game. Let's see here. Well, we don't have to play a game. I mean, we don't really have to, but let's see. Dana Mitchell says, good morning. I'm the first one here. The challenge says, hello. Seeking and Being shows a sunflower. And Nicole says, good morning. Do your own research friend says, hello, everyone. The challenge says, Water World with the Hydrogen Man. Hi, Greg, says Diane McKenzie. And greetings, fellow Earthlings. Earthlings, wait a second. Dreamer's here. That's a surprise. Dreamer seems to like showing up for these. I thought the other day he said something like he didn't like it or something. Okay, so let's just go ahead and go on. Let's go on. I was listening to Jack Johnson. Okay, so let's play an interesting game. It might be really stupid. It really might be a stupid game, but let's just try it if you guys want to. And if not, I can just say everything that I'm putting in the smoothie, why I'm doing it. Somebody actually messaged me and said, hey, oh wait, you know what? I gotta put my apron on. Somebody was telling me, like, I was I tried to make a healthy smoothie like yours, and it tasted horrible. and they said, and the blender sucked because I couldn't get it to blend. And they were like, you make it look so easy. And that's the thing, you get better at it, but the order of things really matters. So I'm going to show you guys today. Well, I guess we shouldn't start a game. I just lost a bunch of people. That was weird. I always find that interesting, but oh well. Okay. See, this is how we start the smoothie. There is an order to things. And banana pancakes. Let's play the game, says the challenge. Okay, you guys want to play? Okay. Greetings. Okay, this is the game. This is what we're going to do. We'll just see how it goes, okay? Before we start, I hope everybody understands that this is not to piss anybody off. And if anybody starts getting their panties in a bunch, just relax, because it's just a game, okay? So, let's just start with that, because everybody, let's see, Dramer says, yesterday when you were talking about parasites, I had this sudden urge to leave and watch some TV. Well, you know what? Honestly, I'm telling you, man, they affect your brain. So it's interesting. I get that reaction a lot. Anyway, so here's the game. First, I'm putting the Purium, obviously. You guys know why, for all the nutrients, multivitamins. You can even look at their products at iShopPurium.com. And if you want a $50 coupon, which is pretty amazing, you can use code UPRISING144K if you want. You don't have to, it doesn't matter. Anyway, actually, it does help the channel if you want to help the channel. Anyway, I'm doing 2 scoops. So this is the game. So what you guys are going to do, because I was thinking, I just kind of talk when I do these live videos because I'm just doing the smoothie, and so I just talk because of course it'd be boring if I wasn't talking to you guys. So this is the game. You guys, anybody who wants to, you just type a subject. Whatever subject it is. You could say cars. You could say houses. You could say gardening. You could say I don't know, space aliens. You can say whatever you want. You name the subject basically. So that's what you're gonna do. You're gonna name a subject. Try to keep it really brief, just like 1 or 2 words or whatever. Like I said, space aliens or something. You can even say religion. You could say politics. I mean, you could say whatever you want. You just say a topic, and then I will ramble around. I will do my best to ramble about that particular topic. Chlorella. And then we can change it at any time. People can just come up with all sorts of stuff. And look, will I know everything about the topic? Clearly not, guys. Will you guys hate my opinions on some things? Maybe, but you guys just pick topics randomly, and then I'll just ramble about them, just try to have fun with it, I thought that might be fun or interesting for whatever reason. I don't know. I just thought, this way you guys are a little involved and we can just yap, yap, yap. Otherwise, what I normally do is I normally just yap. And you know what, guys? I was doing the smoothie yesterday, and I said, I feel like I'm missing something, and nobody said anything. So I'm not sure if you guys are paying attention, but I'm like, somebody's got to notice what I'm missing. And then eventually I realized till later on the day that I missed putting ginger in it, and nobody even noticed. So I'm wondering, are you guys like observing what we're doing here with the smoothie, or am I? Or maybe it doesn't matter to you guys. You just like to watch me make a smoothie. Believe it or not, there are people who just like me. They like to watch me make the smoothies. It sounds kind of odd, isn't it? But there are people who like to. Well, I guess there's people who like to watch people cook. So look at all this purple. I love all this purple. Purple Urkel. Look at all the purple. Supposedly purples are supposed to be good for you. Maybe I should look at this, see if they're going bad too. So I'm gonna, okay, let's see if anybody said anything. Let's see, wow, everybody's joining. Okay, let's see, let's start with the first one. First one says, a wonderful world of parasites. I don't know if that's supposed to be the what we're supposed to talk about. The greens are next. Oh, there you go, so you guys know. Okay, hydrogen cars. Okay, there we go. So we'll start with the challenge. He says hydrogen cars. He brought up the topic. I'll talk about hydrogen cars. So in my opinion, hydrogen cars would be an awesome idea because, well, hydrogen is the most abundant energy source in the universe, all right? I mean, it's just plain stupid that we don't use it for energy. Now, some say, well, it costs too much money to produce hydrogen. Well, that's because you're doing it wrong. You know, you could literally this was one of my ideas for Elon. So see, now the subject is going to reveal something that I was thinking that Elon should really look into. Because the thing about solar is awesome. Okay, you can do a lot with solar. And you have giant solar farms. But what Elon wants to do is he wants to put them into, he wants to build these gigantic, enormous battery packs for the energy, which is great and all, but building giant batteries that can feed an entire nation is not, I mean, it's not easy, requires a lot of materials, and that's great. It's still going to be good. It's not like I'm against it. But hydrogen cars, to produce the hydrogen, what you would basically, you use solar, and you use the solar to produce the hydrogen, and you put them in these gigantic tanks. They're tanks. They're just tanks that hold hydrogen under extreme amounts of pressure. And I think that would be so much easier than building giant batteries. And people might be like, well, okay, great. So you have hydrogen. How in the heck, you know, do you get electricity too, though? Which is pretty easy. That's what a fuel cell does. There are fuel cells that convert hydrogen to electricity. And so it'd be that easy. You could literally hold the electricity in hydrogen instead of in battery packs. But as far as hydrogen cars are concerned, I think that and actually, I don't think, I already know. I mean, there was somebody who was doing it like a long time ago, like back in the 80s or something. I've seen his stuff, and some of the materials needed are actually illegal, which is, I don't know, dare I say, kind of dumb, but maybe not. I understand why they're illegal, but the point is that you can convert any car right now, like an internal combustion engine car, you can actually convert them to, yuck, ugh, guess there were some bad spots in there. You can convert, look at this, trying to make sure it's good. Any internal combustion car to run on literally just hydrogen instead of gasoline. So you can still keep, which I think would be cool, the old classic cars, and they would still sound awesome, like muscle cars, and yet, geez, you could get rid of catalytic converters and all that nonsense, because if you get them to run on hydrogen, the only byproduct would be water. So I think hydrogen cars would be awesome. In my opinion, of course, become the hydrogen car guy, the hydrogen man. Well, I mean, all things hydrogen, right? I mean, that's why I'm known as the hydrogen man, really, because I mean, there's all sorts of other methods. I'm telling you right now, guys, I got all sorts of ideas of things that we could do with hydrogen for agriculture. I just gave you one of my energy ideas. It'd be so easy. I mean, really, it'd be so easy. It wouldn't even take but probably 1% of what they give the military every year. We could have so much hydrogen. We could be the first hydrogen nation in the world, and we're not going to be. I'm pretty sure I know who that's going to go to. It's already happening. They're building a city already, and it's going to be all about that. It's going to change the world, and a lot of people don't know about it yet. I probably shouldn't have said anything, but eventually I'm going to share more and more details about it. So I could probably go on about hydrogen cars, but I guess I can go back to it. Jazz says air filtration is a cool one. Just purchased the Air Doctor. You know, air filtration is very important, extremely important. There was a report, and it's really quite sad, actually. It's a report where here's the thing. See, and I think I've told you this before. I have a lot of suspicions, and I've had a suspicion for a long time, which was eventually validated. You know, the way the houses are built, they're not actually of the highest quality. You just got like sticks, you pour some cement, you know, you have like sheetrock, which is just, I don't know, pretty toxic, all the dust and all the glues. Yeah, you nail stuff, and then you put like the insulation, which I don't think is very clean either. The thing I don't like is ductwork. When you have ductwork, I've noticed, and then the heater blows in. And by the way, putting organic blueberries, berries, you know, pretty magical. Anti-parasitic too, it turns out. And all this air blows around your house, and your house is all sealed up, and there's so much dust. And And so anyway, houses are not very clean. Well, anyway, this guy started doing deeper research into houses and found that almost every house, I think it was well over 80%. So not every house, but like the majority of them had mold, and it's just even showers. Like, you know what? You guys, I'm telling you, you're gonna really enjoy when I go to Japan because they don't build showers the way that we build them. Because, I mean, I'm not trying to say that the Japanese are either smart. I don't know if they're smarter or if they just think about things more. I mean, in America, we'll literally build a shower and we'll have like sheetrock in the shower, and it just starts like, you know, falling apart and turning into a moldy, just it turns into a mess is what it turns into. It's an absolute mess, showers in America. And I've seen it. And I've tried to tell people who are construction workers, friends, and they're like, well, dude, that's what the fan's for. You just turn on the fan. And I'm like, no, it doesn't work. I've tried that. It doesn't work. Okay, we're going to put the little either clean water or hydrogen water right into the smoothie right now as we go. You guys know the drill. So basically, the air quality is just not good. And that's the reason I told you guys. I'm following, see, everything for me is about purity because I've already noticed the pure I keep my blood, my bowels, my body. You know, very, very strange things have been happening. Now, do I think that that will happen to everybody? No. I say no because if you guys were here for one of the stories that I shared about this one particular cleansing that I did, and something happened to me. And the thing that happened to me, I kind of thought happened to everybody because the lady who did my cleanse even asked me to, keep a journal, write down everything because she was like, she knew something was going to happen because things do happen to everybody. But apparently, what happened to me was, when I asked her, so is this what happens to people? And she goes, no, I've never heard a story like that before. So apparently mine was a little different, but it impacted me so much that I really not just vowed. It's not like I had to make a vow. I ginger next. Won't forget it this time. I like the spiciness of the ginger. I just didn't want to ever lose that feeling. You've lost that loving feeling. You lost that loving. That's exactly though it. I don't want to lose that loving feeling. I love that feeling, and I didn't realize that for me, at least. I'm not saying it happens for everybody. For me, that feeling, I got it when I was cleaning up my body, and I lose it don't, when I'm all clogged up, when things are not moving right or super, super clean. It's kind of like probably walking into a house that's all nice and clean and the air feels nice and clean. And I don't know, it just feels good. Or when you're walking in the forest, I love doing that. I just went on a hike yesterday at the mountain. I put a few things on Instagram, little video footages of stuff and ice because there was ice at the mountain, a lot of snow. Natural ice sculptures, by the way, from nature. It was pretty gorgeous. And so, I just like that feeling. And it's worth it to me because some people are like, dude, how can you not eat this? Or how can you not eat that? Or how can you do these smoothies every morning? I just don't get it. And it's like, it's like when you're in love. When you're in love, you do all these nice things for your partner. And when you're not in love, like when people start taking their partners for granted, they don't do those things anymore. You have to be inspired to want to do them. And the love and the goodness that I feel when I treat my body right is my fuel, is what makes me continue to do these things that to me don't seem crazy. To some people it does. They're like, just crazy, dude. Somebody was telling me just yesterday, they were like, when I get stressed, I want to have a big steak. Why is that? And I get it. When I'm stressed, um, yeah, I guess sometimes there's certain foods I crave, but yeah, yeah, food can be like that. It can be, I think what happens is people are under so much stress too. It's a catch 22, isn't it? But again, we do the best we can. I mean, and look, you don't have to convince anybody. At least I don't feel that way. I don't feel like I need to convince anybody. I do things, I got a really interesting story for you guys. Maybe I wonder if I should share it, but because it literally after all these years, just right now, as I'm talking to you, I just realized that yeah, I don't really think about too much of other people's opinions, in regards to what I'm doing. Like some people are like, oh, you don't do good enough, or you're doing too much, or whatever they say. I know by me, I know by me. And I know if I'm trying or I know if I'm not. I don't need anybody to tell me. And I really don't need people's validation, really. I hate to say that, but I just, not that it's not like good or important or whatever, but you know, I do things for me. Let's see, what was that song? I like me for me. Okay, all right. So that's the air purification. Yeah. Burr says peanut butter. Peanut butter is an interesting one because I don't know. Do you guys like this game so far? I'm just gonna ramble about whatever subject you guys pick, but hey, I don't know. It could be fun, I guess. I'm not extremely knowledgeable on peanut butter. I know some people believe that all peanut butter that you pretty much buy is got molded in. It was either peanut butter or maybe cashews. It was one of those. And I don't know. I don't know if I'd go that far. I mean, maybe I'd have to do a little more research on that. But peanut butter, like most nuts, of course, if you don't have allergies to them, are extremely good for you. I mean, there's so much nutrition. Like I said, that's what I eat. I eat fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, beans, and potatoes. All right, natto challenge. I mean, that's the whole reason we're really doing this, right? To get the enzymes of natto kinase actually in this natto. But this is a whole food, meaning you're not just extracting just the enzyme. I like the whole food. You activate it by stirring it, as you guys well know. What we've learned from the science, and this is thank goodness to the Japanese. I gotta say, I love the Japanese. I really, I like all different kind of races and cultures because I think that we can learn something from each one of them, and I think it's so beautiful what they provide to the world. Like for example, the people from India, like turmeric and all the spices and all that stuff. I think that's amazing. All the different foods that they also have. They have a lot of good vegetarian food. When you look at like Mexico, the salsas and I mean, I know the tacos and everything, but there is obviously a lot of meat over there. But still, they have a lot of different wonderful things. Usually not the healthiest stuff, but I really like the arroz con leche. Somebody mentioned that the other day, and I've made healthy alternatives to the unhealthy ways that they've done it. But they use, but and again, most societies also have the unhealthy, which seems to come from mostly the West. They're infiltrating everywhere. Um, but we can learn things from every culture. But the Japanese, what I noticed is it's their old school stuff, the stuff from the ancient, like natto. I mean, you should see the way they make this stuff. I want to make videos about that in the very near future. I'm going to show you guys all sorts of really old school way of doing Japanese things because they've kept it alive. They like you should see the best soy sauce in the world. The way that they make it, super old school, very time consuming, but it's just epic soy sauce. And so just stuff like that, just different things that we can learn, and you know, kind of stuff like that. But the one thing that I didn't like the Japanese do a lot of, if you notice, they put like the pots in the middle of the table and you cook them in water. So cooking with oil is a really bad idea. It's clearly carcinogen. We know the data on it. So I don't saute with oil. I don't deep fry with oil. None of that. And it makes me feel like not so good when I do it, even though it tastes delicious. I think I've done it 100 times. Look at that. See how it gets all foamy now and more active, more alive. But it does taste great. But a lot of the old school Japanese stuff is like either raw, a lot of fermented stuff, lots of fermented stuff. Even soy, for people who don't know, soy sauce is fermented, natto's fermented. They have a bunch of fermented vegetables. They call them skemono. Um, what else? Their koji is fermented. I mean, just so many ferments in Japan. It's crazy. Mm, wow, this one tastes pretty interesting today. I want to see all the differences. All right. I find it interesting, and I don't know if it's just a coincidence. If I talk about certain subjects, people disappear. If I talk about other subjects, all of a sudden people flood in, but there's no way they know that I'm talking about the subject. But I find it interesting. Okay, what's next? Let's scroll down. We talked about peanut butter. Peanut butter. So, would you like some peanut butter? Northern Yeti says, what if we applied an electric current to our bodies, oh my God, to produce massive amounts of hydrogen? Um, yeah, let me think about that. I don't know about I mean, maybe that's an interesting idea. Maybe it is interesting. You know, I got to be open-minded. I certainly would be, just the way you made it sound, right? Hey, what if we put electric current through your brain? I mean, our bodies are already electrical, you know. I have, actually, Northern Yeti, you're touching on something that there is something that I think would actually do better than that. Actually, I don't know if you guys are aware of this. I thought about making a video. Are you aware that there is an enzyme that can now pull out hydrogen out of the air and produce, I believe, electricity? So in the future, we're going to learn about things like that. You know, we just lack wisdom. That's the thing about humans right now. We think very two-dimensionally, like, oh, we got to burn something to make electricity or power or energy or whatever. But enzymes can do all sorts of things. And hydrogen, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, when you actually use hydrogen water and hydrogen gas inhalation, it activates certain enzymes in the body that actually help fight free radicals themselves. So not just hydrogen. See, that's what I love about hydrogen, is that it's not like hydrogen's just doing everything for you. It's kind of like having a good parent that doesn't do everything for you, like wash your clothes, make your bed. I mean, just do everything for you, because that's not going to be really good for you either. But believe it or not, the hydrogen can even help you be what I would call independent. And I say independent because when you use hydrogen, there have been studies. And remember, no medical advice, no medical claims. You guys go read your stuff. But I read some studies where it showed that even though you use hydrogen, once you stop using it, it continues. It continues to do magical things in the body. And these enzymes that I was talking about, your body begins to actually fight off free radicals on its own, because it does have the ability to do that. What I think hydrogen really does is just bring in the balance of oxidation and antioxidation in the body. And we need that balance because we are so out of balance, because our planet and everything that we do to our bodies is obviously really, really out of balance. All right, so that's celery. But I mean, it's an interesting idea. At least, I like it. I like that you're at least thinking, Northern Yeti. I mean, that's what I think we need, a think tank, as they call it sometimes. Um, okay, let's see. Moving on. Peanut butter, sir. Okay. Annette says, good day. Thank you again for all your support. Oh, you're welcome. Dana Mitchell says, can we ask questions? Of course you can. I'd love to know if you've tried any other Purium products. I'm going to order Power Shake, but I'm wondering if there are other products that you would recommend. Oh yeah, they got a bunch of them. That's the thing that I like about the company. I like when a company, like some companies, like I can use hydrogen as an example actually. Let me think, what am I going to do with this guy? Debating. Um, they do have other products, and I do have some. And I was going to use them at specific times, and I guess I hadn't talked about that. But they have this one, and I have it, it's like all special. I have it all wrapped up in a box, and I could show it to you. The problem is I'm making a smoothie right now. But I guess if you want the simple answer is yes. I like them because they clearly have good products, and they seem to be really, really clean. And that's what I like about them. And it's nice when there's a company that you can trust all their products, not just some of them. And that was the thing about hydrogen. When I was doing research, all these hydrogen companies carry, literally a 20, 30, 40 different hydrogen machines. It's like, you don't need that many hydrogen machines. You make one good one. And then the one that I like from Holy Hydrogen, I mean, they only carry the best. That's what they always tell me too. And I'm on the same, frame of mind as, you only carry the best. And if there's only one good one, then that's what you carry, no need to. And there are a few other ones that are good, but they're actually more expensive and they do less. So why would you offer a more expensive product that doesn't make good water or doesn't make water at all or whatever? So yes, in my opinion, yes, you guys can ask questions, of course. We don't have to. I mean, the game was only designed to, in a way, keep the conversation going, get everybody engaged, just to be fun. Maybe funny things will come up, I thought, actually. Just have fun with it, that's all. It's not a necessity. You guys can definitely ask questions. And I can certainly ramble on about whatever I guess, technically want to, but maybe sometimes there'll be things in my mind that I want to talk about. But yeah, definitely ask questions. I mean, that's really, honestly, that's really kind of a, I think I'm going to take a few of these today. That's really what the smoothie videos are actually, they're really intended. They're not really for entertainment, really, to be honest. The smoothie videos are to show you guys how it's done, to show you what I'm doing that has really brought a lot of results. And it's free. It's free for you guys to watch. And sometimes when you see somebody do it, at least this for me, I don't know about you, but for me, when I watch somebody do it, I can see, oh, it's possible. Look, I'm watching them do it. Look, it's not that hard, This guy does this every morning. Yeah, okay. It's possible. That's all I'm really trying to show you, because sometimes people say, yeah, make a smoothie, and then you're like, well, okay, and you started putting all this stuff in the blender and it just turns into a total mess, like that person who messaged me the other day. And you know what, I want to put a cold pack on me. And so so that's really the reason that I do it. Sorry guys, I'm gonna be 1 second because I'm nothing particularly important. I'm just I'm literally gonna attach an ice pack to me. I don't know why. I like to feel sometimes like a cold pack. And then sometimes I like to put heat packs. I got a heat pack too, and sometimes I'll attach both of them to me. Actually, quite often. I'll attach a heat pack and a cold pack. Is that weird? I don't know. I'm weird. Okay, so hopefully that answered your question, Diane. Moving on. Where was Diane's question? Where was she? Or Dana. Dana, that's what it was. Okay, the challenge says radiation hormesis. And he says mining. You want me to talk about mining? Okay, maybe I'll come back to that. Diane says, I heard that too about peanut butter, and I still eat organic, no sugar added. Yeah, I know. I'd like to buy stuff without any added whatever. Just made a nice sauté sauce, says Burr. Annette says, I have a friend from Norway who produced a hydrogen truck here in the US. I helped her with it. Wow, very cool. Norma says, so would you say fermenting is like allowing food to break down? Yeah, fermentation is very, very intelligent way of. See, this is what I mean. Is like when I observe ancient cultures, especially Japan, they held on to a lot of the old ways, like their old school traditions, and there's a lot of wisdom in it. I mean, when you really, really observe, and of course, you can see in their longevity, how long they live in their cultural foods. When cultural foods are healthy, I like that. When there's cultural foods that are unhealthy, I think it's really a bonehead move, in my opinion. Okay. Um, and so it's best to create a good culture or things in regards to your culture that are healthy habits, not that are bad habits, because then you're just passing bad habits from generation to generation. But yes, fermentation helps. It really helps the gut, and helping your gut, like I said, well, that's where the majority of your hydrogen is produced also, by the way. And fermentation is just really, really important. I mean, that's why I literally eat either sauerkraut or kimchi every single day. That's fermented. I eat koji whenever I do have it, which is quite often. I had some yesterday, that's a fermented food. I also like sprouted foods. In fact, right here, one of my favorites, guys, broccoli sprouts, highly anti-cancerous. I'm gonna put some of this in there. Whoa, that's a lot. And you know what? I would normally just leave it, but I want to save some for tomorrow. Just a little bit. I gotta make more. How expensive. I mean, I'll buy them, but I'm surprised how expensive it is, these broccoli sprouts. I'm making myself. All right, let's put some more hydrogen water in here, shall we? We're starting to run out of room, and it looks like I'm actually a little short on bananas. I'm gonna have to go downstairs and get some. We got some magic ingredients coming up too. So, okay. Let's see. Let's keep moving on. So, would you say, okay, Dana says, you have mixed it almost 400 times. I don't know why I wanted to count, but I did. Really? There's no way I did it 400 times. I've counted before, but if I did 400 times, that's crazy. But apparently the more I do it, the better it is. So they just said a minimum of 100 times. Now I'm putting some chia seeds. So if you notice the patterns, it's fermented foods, soaked food. So a lot of water for the colon and the foods that I eat. Lots of fiber. You're going to notice that I do a lot of fiber, a lot of fiber. And then you're also going to notice a lot of sprouted, so sprouted ferments, all this stuff. And I avoid pretty much processed foods and foods that just have processed foods. There's just all sorts of these ingredients and too many ingredients. Like especially when they add added sugars. Apparently, we bore the heck out of everybody. Everybody's leaving. Okay. Diane McKenzie says he's extra. I don't know. Somebody's laughing. I don't know what I said or what somebody said. Okay. Diane says Ian called me when I entered the code and talked to me about the Core 4. I use this cherry drink. Yes, that's the one that I need to start using. It did help me sleep better. Oh, there you go. See, that's one of the ones that's the one that I have. If you ingest lead, you just need to learn alchemy. Diane says, LOL, the challenge is laughing. I like picking your brain, says the challenge. Well, see, that's what I thought you guys might have fun with. I thought that you guys might have fun picking my brain and being like, hey, let's ask him any question we want. And that's why I thought it'd be fun if you guys could pick a subject because you're like, hey, I want to know what Hydro Man thinks about this. Not so much to try to stump me as much as it is to just, if you really want to know what I'm thinking about, and I don't have to share. But Diane says, my daughter-in-law is of Dominican descent. They love to cook with vegetables, oil, and love pork. Yeah, pork is a problem. It's delicious, but not the healthiest. Exactly. Oh, the 400 stirs. That's what everybody's laughing about. Yeah, gotta activate it. Okay, look at this carrot. It's kind of funny shaped, kind of. Ian called me too, Diane. I've been on the Purium site last few days researching the product before I decided I'm getting the cherry one too. Do you know the history of fermentation? No. No, I don't actually. I'm not believe it or not, I'm not like a huge history buff. Um, I don't even know what I really research. I know a little bit about, I actually know quite a bit about cars. Like I said, before I really got into the health thing and all the things that I do, and everything I try to do is I try to make everything as simple as possible. I don't like to overcomplicate things. So that was what I did with health, and I didn't expect by trying to make it, a way that I can actually live and super simple. I didn't expect it to start making certain medical conditions possibly. Again, this is not a medical claim or anything, guys. It's just been my own observation from myself and people that I know. I didn't expect my techniques to start, you know, necessarily improving life as much as it has. And I'm like, this is interesting. So, what exactly is making us so sick? And obviously, water. Water, I'm telling you guys, I could tell you, I didn't even come up with that. That actually came to me. I don't share this too much, but I do these meditations and all these things come to me. And that was one of the big ones. It said air and water. Don't ever harm the air and the water is what came to me. And then I started thinking about it. And our energy, look, I'm gonna get on my soapbox because I think I talked about this the other day, and it was because of Mr. BG, Bill Gates, and how they tell people, how we're all trash because, you know, we burn fossil fuels for energy. But the thing is, everybody does, including him. He probably does more damage than we do with his little private plane flying around or whatever. That's not the point. The point is that it's not you can't say that people are trash or bad because somebody created a system that is dependent on the way that we produce energy is bad for the environment because we need the energy. So we just have to find a way to make good at clean energy. That's what we really got to find. Not so much chastising people or taxing them like the carbon tax. Those things are just stupid. They don't make any sense to me. And clearly every time we do it, which by the way, every product we produce, anything that requires energy, which by the way, everything pretty much, if it's harming the environment, which it clearly is, and it's because of the way we produce energy, we need to make a change. And it's not rocket science. It really is. And I don't know why I hadn't really realized or thought about the depth of it all. But once I did the meditation, a lot of things are shown to me and revealed to me. And That's why I clearly know I'm a dummy. I mean, I don't try to pretend that I'm super smart. I mean, some people think I am, but it's like, no, I I know I'm a dummy. I'm not gonna pretend that I'm not a dummy. I'm not a I'm not a genius, or anything crazy, where I'm gonna invent. Actually, I do have some really good ideas about some inventions I really want to do, but anyway, those are also ones that came in meditation, so I can't take credit for it. It almost feels like it's actually given to me more than anything. But the point is that doesn't matter. What matters is that we need to make some changes so people can live their lives. People need to move. You can't try to hinder people's movement. That really is pretty stupid. Or dare I say foolish. That's probably a better word because, the word stupid, probably not very positive, but, I'm a dummy, so I just use basic language. Foolish is too advanced of a word for me. Obviously, I'm kidding, guys. I'm just kidding. I'm just saying. You know what? We are missing something here. Let's put, they're not soaked in water. I wish they were. I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to soak some more for tomorrow right now. But I'm going to put some in just for the heck of it. They have natural boron. Sun-dried raisins. I actually love that they dry them in the sun. Okay, let's see where we're at here. Where we are. Diane says, going to also ask my son to start the smoothies too. Oh, there you go. That's a smart idea. It's best to do it when you're young. Have you been enjoying your new sauna? Oh, I remembered that. Yes, it's a little pain in the rear to keep it clean because it's a kind of a cheaper, smaller, inexpensive one. Um, but yes, I was going to do a little video about it. Like I said, the more things that I do, the one thing I just love my carbon distiller because you can use distilled water for so many things. Like some guy died because he did a neti pot and he didn't clean the water to the highest degree. You would have never had that problem with distilled water. And in fact, the directions, that's what they recommend. They recommend to use carbon distilled or just distilled. And that sauna suggests, and of course that's what I use. And boy, am I going through the water because I'm using it in there too. So that's been really nice. And it's such a cheap sauna. I think it was under $100. And it's not fancy because I plan on leaving. I haven't sweat for so long because ever since the whole, I don't want to say the word because I don't want to get in trouble, but basically since everybody started getting sick or whatever, the whole scam, they called it some type of pandemic, whatever it was. Anyway, the point is, since that whole thing went down, I quit going to certain places where I used to go, more public places to go use a sauna. And so I didn't do that anymore. And I am very cautious. People do carry a lot of disease, believe it or not, and it's not just a virus. I mean, people just carry stuff. And I am a little bit of a germaphobe, and I'm not just a germaphobe. I've shared on other videos, anybody who's new. I'm a little bit, dare I say, I mean, it really is kind of weird to say this, but I do have certain autistic tendencies, and I do my best to act normal, and people usually don't notice. Actually, there's a few who have. Some of them are trained professionals, but I just do little weird things sometimes, and it's fine. It's like no big deal. I do my best to be able to function, but I don't like I don't like touching people's hands, and I have little tiny little weird things about me that I just try to keep under the radar. And I'm just being open with you guys. I could have tried to continue to never share that with you, but most of the people watching they're always saying things like they just want to know more about me. So anyway, and I share that because if you guys ever notice something like, why does he do that, or what's weird about that? And when it comes to clean water, I'm kind of like that. I mean, I've actually always used filtered water, always. I don't think I've ever drank tap water. The problem is that I never realized that there's a difference of how you clean it, and I never cleaned it enough. Now, not even close. Now I'm like a freak, right? I mean, I really am reaching a level of, but it's helped my health. So let's see, Norma, I like the way you explain things. It's clear and direct. Oh, thanks, Norma. That's because that's the way my brain thinks. I'm like, I can't make things overly complicated. When things are over complicated, it drives me nuts. My brain short circuits. I mean, I can do it. You know what it is? I could do it, but it's not in my heart. There's something. I don't know if I can't. I don't know if there's something wrong with my heart, but there's something with my heart in the sense that if it's something's not in my heart, like if you tell me to find a way to like find a legal way to like I don't know, go screw somebody out of their property or like like the way these companies and politicians do and all this stuff, I can't do it. I cannot do it because it's just not in my heart. I just can't do it. And so I have to um something has to be in my heart, meaning that I really, really have to care a lot in order to be able to just even to figure things out, like figuring things out about health. Like I wasn't really a health nut back in the day. I really wasn't. So I didn't really, and if I tried to learn, I just couldn't. I remember one of my friends was like, dude, you got to eat better if you want to, achieve greater things in regard. Because I used to really be into lifting when I was younger. I'm like, dude, I just can't do it. He had this whole regimen, and I just couldn't do it. It's just it wasn't in my heart. And when I got sick, obviously that is when things changed. Okay, first magic ingredient, minerals. Remember, we had minerals because our food is mineral deficient, and I don't want to be deficient in minerals. So we had minerals with the fibers of fruits and vegetables. That's going to work best, in my opinion. No medical claims here. No claims at all. Okay, what else are we doing here? We're going to go with, I was going to soak, well, I guess I could soak some more. And so yeah, I am, and maybe we're all a little strange. I noticed, maybe we just don't talk about it. I don't know. But I've tried everything that I've done in regards to my channel, because hydrogen is actually very complex. It's kind of like water. It can be complex. It can also be simple. But I will tell you right now that hydrogen it can be very complex, especially when you want to break down the mechanisms in the body and explain to people. But in my mind, it's like, look, if we can clearly see that it's good for us, which I think is pretty clear at this point with the science we have, it's like then I focus on, well, what's the best way to use it? Because I just want to apply this to my life. Same with water, just cleaning water. You can talk about all these different ways of cleaning water, but the hydrologic system is quite simple. I mean, distillation, simple, and it cleans everything. Now, the things that it cleans out is actually what's more complex, because you read all these chemical names and they just overly complicated it. They always make up all these names that make you feel stupid because you can't even pronounce them. Okay, let's fire this up and get breakfast going. There we go. I'll dump the compost. I almost want to throw an extra banana. Maybe, maybe I might go grab another banana, because these bananas are so green. They just taste kind of funny, and I don't know. I might have a little room in there to do it. Let's see. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take these guys with me and shake them the whole time while I go get some bananas and fire this up real quick. So, and I don't know what subject to talk about because I wasn't reading the list, but I just wanted to go grab banana. Bananas are actually kind of interesting. They're not very, most fruits seem to have like a decent amount of water content, but bananas don't, but I still like them. I mean, I haven't read a ton about the science behind bananas or anything. These are all green. I'm going to just bring them up. I got a little place where I try to ripen them up a little bit. They have a great flavor. I remember back in the day I used to eat, again, South American stuff, plantains, where they fried them. They used to fry them with sour cream and sugar. I think that might be good. Boy, that made everybody disappear. All right, we're still shaking it up. Let's see if I can find. Only the real fans are sticking around. That's okay. I mean, I really was doing this more for everybody to learn how to do it. So if they got what they needed, all good. We got very few people left. Okay, let's go on to the next subject. Oh, I was shaking the banana. Thought I had these guys in my hands. That's funny. The challenge says, do you ask a question when you do meditation or wait for the answer to come to you like a download from the universe? It's interesting, actually. That's a really good question. I don't specifically ask questions, but what I will say, but sometimes it's hard to explain this. I can feel it. I can feel it in my heart what I'm wanting to know. But usually I'm being educated without really asking what needs to come to me or whatever. In fact, it's really weird that you're asking this actually, and I probably wouldn't even bring it up unless somebody asked. But what I will say is that the deeper they got and the more open I got in the meditations, it reached the point. I'm going to put a little either clean or hydrogen water in here. Wow, now we're under 10 people here, guys. Everybody left. I wonder if I said something. Did I say something that upset people? Maybe it was a blender. Anyway, it's okay. Maybe we'll just delete this video. Maybe the game didn't work. But, it's fun. It's fun to chit chat with you, about other subjects rather than whatever I want to ramble about, right? But, yeah, eventually it reached the point where it feels like I'm being taught, is what it feels like. I'm being taught. And then as you're being taught, that brings up other questions. But the questions, like I said, they tend to come more from the heart. Oh, yes, there's a little space in here. You know what? Let's do this. I'll answer that question in a second. Let's get this rolling here. Because I'm going to put, you know what? There's room in here. Let's do that. So as you're taught, it affects your heart. There's so many things that have been taught to me that I just couldn't ever, I just would have not thought of them is a thing. And eventually what started happening was I started being educated on, in the meditations, about how we should run nations. And I thought that was when things started getting really, really odd. I'm like, why would this be coming up? Because there's a way to run a nation that could be very good for people. And they're pretty simple too, pretty basic. All right, let's keep it going. Keep it going. Okay, and one of the first things was in the meditation. One of the first things was they said you have too many rules. Like society has too many rules. They said if you have too many rules and laws, everybody's guilty. That was one of the It's almost like they create too many rules as a sense of control. Like, we could always get something on you if we really wanted to. Type of Okay, I'm hoping that banana's all blended up because sometimes a big chunk will come out. Let's find out. Okay, now what we do, here's a magic ingredient coming up for the Natto Kinase Challenge smoothie with hydrogen. First, ionic zinc. Why? Well, it's already in the powder actually that I put in there from Purium, but I have this around, and if I don't use it, it's going to go bad, and you guys know I'm moving, so I'm trying to use up everything. And, zinc is extremely good for you anyway, so I'm like, hey, yeah, use it up. I could go into all the details about what it's good for you, but we got so many things here moving on. So K2, D3. Now, D3 is the one that I will forever have to take. D is very interesting because it's not really found naturally in too many foods. It's extremely rare. It's very hard for us to get our vitamin D levels right. And it's so crucial for our health. I mean, so many aspects. I won't even go into all the details. Boron. This one we're doing an experiment with ionic boron, but honestly, the data on it is unbelievable. I mean, what it does for the bones, the ligaments, the brain, and what we call sex hormones for both men and women. So your estrogen, your testosterone, which is very important. I mean, extremely important. And so I like to get something natural like that. And it's just a mineral, guys. I mean, it's just amazing that it's just a mineral can do all that. And that's why I said no deficiency. See, I have complete faith, as crazy as that probably sounds, in whoever or whatever created our human body. It's such a marvel that if it says, hey, you need all these minerals and all these nutrients, then that's what I'm going to put in it because I don't want the body to be deficient. Plus, we have data. We know that when the body is deficient, it leads to disease, including Not just disease, but parasites. And maybe it's the parasites that cause the disease. Ooh, what a thought-provoking subject. Not really, in my opinion, but and then they don't deworm us, but in Japan, you guys are probably not aware of this, but they do deworm. They deworm children, I believe, every year. Or they test them in schools too, which is very, very important. They don't test all the kids. And it's funny, it's so cute, they take a little sticker and they put it on their butt, because I think they take a fecal sample, and then they put a little sticker on their butt on all these kids, to show that they've been tested or something. It's really, I mean, it really is very cute. The Japanese do so many things that you would say are just cute. In Japanese, cute is kawaii, kawaii. And they have these mascots for like every town, like every county, every town, and the mascots are like little bears and little donkeys, and everything is cute. Like that's the way they do things, and it's really quite adorable. I'll show you guys more of that in the future. Okay, next magic ingredient. We only got two. This one, and then we got one more after this. Hemp hearts. I think we've gone into why these are so important. The most well-balanced omegas. And so protein, people will say, oh, you need more protein. They don't realize that there is a balance. And the balance of the protein is important. And hemp hearts are quite magical, extremely nutritious. And they are a little expensive, but at the same time, you know, just be grateful, really, that you even have access to them. God knows they want to illegalize them or something because they come from the cannabis plant. Or hemp, whatever. You know what I'm saying. That's quite delicious. I can taste the green banana though. Now it's the only thing missing is that banana thing. But you know what? I'm still happy. It's not like I'm super disappointed, but it does, that one banana or two does change the way the smoothie tastes. Okay. Let's go on to the last magic ingredient. Anybody guess? I feel like I've been doing the videos long enough. You should know by now. Can anybody guess the last magic ingredient? Well, I'm about to do it any second anyway. What? There's more ingredients? Wait a second. I thought he was done. What else could he possibly put in the smoothie? I'm actually going to put it in my body while I'm drinking the smoothie. Excuse me. I'm going to put it in my body as I drink. Sounds like a magic trick. What can I put in my body while I'm drinking the smoothie? Isn't it obvious? Damn it, Jim, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a miracle worker. Aren't you, Jim? Oh, you were. Okay, now I get to take out my earpiece. Yay. Okay. And the magic ingredient is hydrogen. I'll be putting hydrogen in my body while I drink the smoothie, so I can get greater absorption of nutrients and protect me against anything that might be bad. Okay, let's see where we're at. Hydrogen gas, there you go. You guys got it, Northern Yeti. Diane, you guys got it right. You are the regulars, it's pretty obvious, right? Okay. Ah, yes. Okay, let's keep going. Let me go back. The challenge says, do you ask questions? Oh yeah, so I kind of answered that kind of already. And there's so much information I have. I just don't know what to do with it because I can't write a book. But at some point in the future, I'm sure that there'll be reasons for these things being shared with me, I assume. I don't know. But we'll see, time will tell. We could touch on that more. But yes, lots of downloads. Dana says, I agree, Norma. This is a great game. Great idea, Greg. Love this. You make me feel like I'm right there. It's really nice. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome. See, I thought it might be fun. Norma, did you forget the ginger or did I come in after that part? I forgot it yesterday. I did put it in today. And you know what? It doesn't taste very gingery. Maybe I didn't put enough.
Tastes like a green banana. There is some other flavor in here. What is that? To think about it. Is money better to be centralized or decentralized? I think money can actually be quite simple. I think money should be like kind of like gold. Like, remember in the old days, you had a gold coin, you pay for things. Like, it should be that simple. You just give it to somebody, you know, and they have the gold, they give it to some, like, you know, really old school. Japan is really big on that, by the way. Japan, and they're probably going to change, but they were so old school with their money. Everything was cash. Everything was always cash. And I mean, I'm not a big political person in the sense that I don't really, you know, read up on all those terms. But if I am to understand that correctly, sorry, I'm just adjusting the camera here so I can actually see what I'm reading better. If I were to understand it correctly, I would say decentralized. If my understanding is correct about it being centralized, is that it's kind of like somebody has control and all this stuff, and I don't like all that. It's too complicated. And like I said, I want it really simple, and that's why I just like literally like gold coins and silver coins and very basic form of currency. Yeah, you know, actually, the whole Bitcoin thing came to me on a meditation on November of 2011. So there's something there, but it's also been utilized to scam people, which clearly I got scammed in a really bad way. I mean, I had everything saved for Japan and they cleaned me out. They took, I think, just about everything. I think they left me with like 800 bucks. I lost so much. It broke my heart. You know, it broke my heart. You know what's really weird? I don't even know the guy who did it. It was an online scam, but I felt bad for him. And that's weird because he's the one who stole from me. I felt bad because I just know that he's going to regret it someday. Probably not in this lifetime. But, you know, when you hurt others, it'll come back to you. And I, you know, pity the person because of what's going to happen to them later. I just feel bad for them. Anyway, Norma says, I roast ripe plantains in the skin. It doesn't need anything because it becomes sweeter. Ooh, delicious. You either like it or not. Yeah, plantains are very interesting. Dana says, no, Greg, you didn't say anything wrong. Everything is great. This is great. It's a lot of fun. That was from earlier. Greg, on zinc, my naturopath told me once if you take too much zinc, you throw off your copper. Do you know this rule? Can you explain? I don't know the rule, but here's the thing. All things in balance, right? I mean, do you see me putting zinc in it every single day? No. I mean, I'm just doing it right now because I happen to have it. But everything's about balance. And so it's going to be really tricky if you're trying to overthink things. That's why I created even this hydrogen smoothie, like with all the nutrients. I don't count every nutrient, but the body is pretty good at actually, this is important, and this is why hydrogen is also very important. The hydrogen helps this process of the body finding its balance. If you have too much nutrients of something, you will just pee it out. So the body finds its balance. Now, if you're pumping in 50,000 IUs of vitamin D every single day, 50,000 over and over and over and over, eventually, yeah, you're gonna be like, okay, you could OD on this stuff, you could have too much in your system. That's why I try to find a nice balance. And it doesn't have to be perfect because the body will figure it out. So that's why, look, I mean, I just eyeball it and make a smoothie, and I've had my blood work and it's freaking amazing. So it works, you know. If you overthink everything, you're gonna overcomplicate health. You'll end up with a cupboard full of stuff. You'll be constantly going to your naturopath, asking for the next thing they're supposed to do to you and spending a lot of money. And I just don't think it's necessary. So I don't know if that answers your question. Diane says, yes, I wish they would test the kids here. Yeah, the poor children, I'll tell you. Remember that Bible verse? I think it was Jesus who said it. During the end times, he said, woe to those of children during these times. It's like, man, poor kids right now. They're so confused. And they don't have people leading them really well, in my opinion. Just feel bad for him is all. Northern Unity says, only thing they did when I was in school was check our spine. Interesting, I never had my spine checked. Norma says, I read we're the only mammal that doesn't deworm, hence why we have so many diseases. We're the only animal that doesn't deworm? Yeah, I didn't think, well, I mean, yeah, I mean, we do deworm all these farm animals, and especially the stuff we eat. I don't know, it's kind of weird. I'm telling you, we need to deworm. I mean, I deworm. Northern Yeti, and obviously my diet is highly anti-parasitic in general anyway. Northern Yeti says, what would you guess your macronutrient percentages are? I don't know. So that's the thing, I don't overthink, I mean, I don't really get into it. All I focus on, this is how simple my brain is. Remember, I'm a dummy. All I want to make sure is that I'm getting all my nutrients and minerals. So all the vitamins, all the minerals. Just want to not be deficient in my nutrients. That's all. That's literally how simple it is. And if my blood work was showing that I am deficient, and I have pages of it, I really do. If it was showing that something was wrong, then I would say, okay, clearly what I'm doing is not working and I need to modify this. It's working. So why would I mean, you know, there's so many products that like I've gone to naturopaths in the past. I actually haven't gone for a long time, but there's all this stuff they always want me to take, and it feels a little bit like a doctor's office. They either want to get you prescription medicine or your naturopath wants to get you on something that's more natural and probably better, but still. I just want nutrients for the most part. I'm not saying that there aren't other stuff that are good, but just saying. Norma, I give my dog hemp hearts too. Really? Wow. It is homemade food. My goodness, you must really love your dog. Not only that dog, are you kidding? Hemp hearts, they're not cheap. I don't give them to any animal, but good for you if you can afford it. And that's crazy. You love your dog. Hemp hearts for the dog. All right, Diane McKenzie and Northern Yeti said hydrogen gas. You knew that was the next ingredient. It is the magic ingredient, you know. And it's funny because not one of these, that's what you have to realize. It's like a house. You don't just want, you know, windows. There's lots of pieces that make a house. And our body's the same way. So hydrogen gas, hydrogen water, fibers, minerals, you know, all of it. Okay. Alicia, those bananas look more like plantains. You know, they're not. They're definitely bananas. But they were kind of green, and they were fair trade bananas, organic, and you know, they're green. I don't know what happened to these bananas, but they sold them cheap. That's why I bought them. I think they were like 10 cents a piece. And I was like, I'll buy a bunch of them. But yeah, they taste kind of green. But I am grateful to have them. Okay. Diane McKenzie says, they don't want us to know about the original Tesla inventions. And then Diane says, decentralized. You're probably talking about Tesla, I assume. Diane McKenzie says, I still have faith in Bitcoin. You know, I think there might still be something there. I'm just not all in right now after what happened to me, but my meditation said that there is going to be, it didn't say that it was going to be Bitcoin. It just said that there is going to be there is eventually going to be, see, what I like is when humans can interact with each other without somebody getting in the middle, like these banks and governments, and they make all their fancy rules with all their fancy lawyer talk just to confuse the whole thing. And my solution would be, it's like so simple. Get rid of all taxes, by the way, and you make one tax if you really got to tax people, and it's a sales tax on everything you buy. And that way you never have to file taxes again. You know, if you buy a house, you pay a percentage. You buy a car, you pay a percentage, you know, but just on everything. But they kind of already do that. They already have sales tax, so they already kind of do that, but maybe bring a higher percentage. So that way none of us have to worry about our taxes every single, you know, year or quarterlies or all this nonsense. It's just it's like doing homework forever. I hate that. I always hated homework, at school. I think they overcomplicated it because they're actually double, triple, quadruple taxing us. That's what they're doing. And don't get me started because I'll say words that I shouldn't be saying on camera. Mike says, I haven't heard you talk about Ormus. I'm not particularly familiar, but I've heard the word. Sometimes I just need a quick reminder, so let me see real quick, because like I said, it's not a subject that I'm probably really familiar with. Some other product. Oh, the gold stuff. Is that what you're talking about, gold Ormus? Yeah, I'm just, again, I'm not really big on stuff like that. I try to, like I said, I try to just make sure to have everything that my body needs in a very simple manner. I don't want to be buying more supplements. I believe that a lot of supplements out there are really not that good. I just feel like it's become such a market these days. So I'm not saying that it's not a real thing, but Diane McKenzie says, did you leave it on the exchange? Has to be in cold storage hard wallet. Yeah, I have a hard wallet. It's in there. What I have left, which is almost nothing. I only take around, Burr says, I only take about 400 to 500 IUs of vitamin D. That's really low. I used to take 2,500 IUs daily, and my levels went too high for some reason. Interesting. High levels can cause hypercalcemia. Well, that's weird because it seems awfully low. But hey, if it's working for you, Burr, more power to you, brother. Because 400 to 500 IUs, that's very low, in my opinion. But Mr. Fauci was taking 10,000 a day during the pandemic. I tend to feel my body out. So, but I try to do at least 5,000 a day, actually. Peekaboo. Okay. RW, Greg, I got my hydrogen unit and I have a probably Berkey. Should I wait for the distiller or could I start using the hydrogen water until my distiller comes? You can definitely start using the hydrogen water. I mean, if you're drinking Berkey water anyway, then adding hydrogen to it ain't gonna do nothing. And the Berkey water won't damage the unit, but if you have a lot of mineral, I don't know what state you're in, you can get a lot of buildup on the machine and you just have to make sure to keep it clean. So you can totally start using it. But you can also wait if you want to. It's really up to you. But if you want to use the hydrogen right away, you can get on it. Dana Mitchell says, I'd love to see a list of things you get your blood tested for. Do you have the list? I'd have to dig through because it was long. I've done blood work. I went with this one clinic. They took so much blood from me. And that was a doctor who, she said, you're definitely going to be sick. She goes, you're definitely going to be deficient or something because the way you eat. That was a doctor, and she did great blood work, which is why I actually went to her. And I mean, it was so much, pages and pages and pages. And I remember her looking through it all, and she was shocked. She's the one that, not only was she shocked, she's the one that said, I don't want to be your doctor no more. And I'm like, what? Like, that was the weirdest thing because it went against what she was teaching. I completely was going against her methods of teaching. And just using a little lotion, it's dry this morning. And my methods were working better than hers. And I was a little surprised because, see, for me, if somebody shows me a method that's working better than mine, then I'll gladly change, So if my blood work showed that my methods weren't working, and it showed that her methods were working better, then I would have totally adhered to it. It would have not been a problem. But that wasn't the case. It was actually the opposite. And then she felt, I don't know how she felt. All I know is that she said she didn't want to see me anymore. And that was that. I asked her, I said, please let me keep coming to you because you do great blood work. Boy, it was really involved. And it was expensive. It was like $400 or something for all this stuff they tested. I'm gonna grab some more smoothie. Hold on a second, guys. I don't even taste the natto in it. There's just so many things I'd like to say. Practice love and kindness. Oh, I missed the islands. All right, we're gonna go soon. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, the biggest thing that I was tested for, though, Dana Mitchell, is you can test, your white blood cells, your red blood cells, things like this. But the things that got really involved is when I had them testing for deficiencies. Most doctors won't test for such things. This particular doctor, I requested it, and she was like, yeah, that's my specialty. That's kind of one of the reasons that I went to her, right? And she thought I would be deficient because of the way that I do things. And testing for deficiencies is expensive, and there's a lot of blood required. So, I mean, they test for every nutrient, minerals, everything. And so, I don't know if that answers your question, but hopefully. Mike says, Ormus is already in fresh plants, especially organic. Woohoo! Well, that's a good thing. Then I guess I'm already getting it. Burr says, maybe my body is sensitive to vitamin D. My doctor called me in urgently after the blood test. Wow, Mr. Burr. That's interesting. And I mean, are you getting the absorption? Because it sounds like it. You're crazy absorbing it. 400 or 500 IUs? I mean, wow. Ask most doctors who test patients, they have a hard time getting their patients to absorb it. I mean, that's one of the doctors who contacted me was asking me how I was doing it. People can't get their levels up. People just can't seem to get it up. Okay, Mike, word for nobody getting in the middle of the money transaction like banks is called permissionless. I agree with you, Mike. They don't need to be getting in the middle like that. And I don't like it. That's why they're banksters, they're crooks. It is what it is right now. I mean, Diane McKenzie says, huh? The doctor says she didn't want to see you? Yeah, she didn't tell me directly. After the results, she sent me a letter, probably about a week later, maybe 2 weeks later. And it was I've talked about this story before. Hold on a second. And yes, she sent me a letter, and she made some type of excuse. She's like, oh, you know what? I don't have room for you anymore. And I was like, no room? You had plenty of room. She was actually looking for new patients. Didn't even make sense. And then I called her. I tried to confront her about it because I'm like, why do you all of a sudden do that? Oh, I just don't have time. Okay, Greg, you really need to go find somebody else. And I'm like, but I gave you everything, like all my medical records. I mean, we talked about things. Like I gave you I took a lot of time, and you just want to drop me? Yeah, you're just gonna have to find somewhere else. And it was like, what? It was really weird. Never had a doctor do that to me, but she was not happy. She had a skin condition. I think it was eczema or psoriasis. She clearly had inflammation. She had arthritis. I could tell by looking at her. And she opened up about it. She had a lot of issues. And she was so stuck on her ways, and that's what I don't like. I'm very flexible in the sense that I'm very willing to change my ways or open to new ideas if something works better. I'm always open to something that works better or is better. Okay. Dana Mitchell says, yes, you definitely answered my question about the blood work. Thank you. Oh, great. And Alicia Gonzalez says, vitamin D needs magnesium to get activated. Oh boy, here we go. Magnesium is depleted quickly under stress. Maybe that's why most people have trouble increasing D levels. It can be a good point. But see, here's the thing. If you really start studying the way the human body is, think of it as a car. It's like, well, the car, in order to burn fuel, really needs oxygen. but it also needs, well, you need the gasoline, but you do need the spark plug too. But you do need the wheels to make it go around, but you also need tires, but you also need air in the tires, but you also need fluids in the differentials. But you also need, and so what ends up happening is that everything works synergistically. I mean, that's the gist of it. That's why you can overcomplicate it, or you can just make sure to have no deficiencies. And that's the point that I'm always making is you just need to have no deficiencies because everything works synergistically in the body. And that's why my goal is, instead of talking, see, that's why I don't focus on one thing. Like people are like, oh, just focus on copper, or just focus on magnesium, or just focus on vitamin D, or just focus on the B complex. People do this all the time. And to me, you're overcomplicating things. That's why I created something this simple. I wanted to create something as simple as possible that I could afford and that I could do daily. And this is what it turned out to be, this and clean water and the hydrogen. And it really, with all the little things that I put in this stuff, which are just minerals or nutrients, and it's worked. And it's so simple. Not that, you're not right, but you know what I mean? So I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Diane McKenzie says, did you tell your doctor you use hydrogen and deworm? I did. She actually, I remember she said, I looked into the hydrogen thing. It's a bunch of nonsense. I was like, what? Lady, you're crazy. I was so surprised. She was so close-minded. Everything was about the way that she had figured things out and the way that she does things. And that's what I mean. People are too rigid. Even doctors, they get stuck in their ways and they just don't want to change, or at least be open-minded to something that's clearly good for you. I mean, it was already medically approved, even at that time. So stupid. Her loss, she had a lot of medical issues. Diane McKenzie says, yes, the body and a car, similar workings, theoretically. Yeah, there are a lot of things. Maybe that's why I like cars so much. Mike says, trace minerals usually have a lot of magnesium, and that's true. I have looked at the ingredients, and there's definitely magnesium, and there's magnesium in food. We're probably supposed to have more of it in food, which is because of the deficiencies in the food is the reason that I add it the way that I do. I mean, I don't know if I feel like I've explained this, but I don't know if you guys are really getting it. Putting fruits and vegetables that I know are deficient in nutrients and deficient in minerals, but the fibers are magical. So I put the fruits and the vegetables, but I add the powders to overcompensate what the vegetables and the fruits are missing. I put the minerals to overcompensate what they're missing, but all along keep all the enzymes, all the fibers, all the different things that work synergistically. So I'm trying to create like the perfect food, and the body recognizes food. It really is kind of remarkable how good it works. It really is. I'm actually surprised. I'm almost still waiting someday for somebody to say nah, or show me proof or something, but you can't disprove my blood work. It's just too good. I don't know what else to say about that. That's all I got to say about that. My mama always said, make sure to take your minerals because you don't want to be deficient. Get your butt tested for worms. You know what's so crazy? I worked in the, I think I told you guys before, I worked in the medical field for a long time. And there was something that would happen to people. Guys, it was crazy. I can't believe I'm telling you this story, but unless you guys want to bring up another subject, but it just made me think of this. We would have a patient come in. It's like, okay, what's going on, right? And this person, and it wasn't just one person, this happened to multiple people. They're like, well, and they're really shy about it. They're like, well, I sat on the toilet and I go to the bathroom and something comes out, and it's like you're trying to go to the bathroom and something comes out like, let's see how far. I don't know about this far. Like you think you're having a bowel movement, and this thing then just goes back in. And they were like, I don't know what's going on. What is this? And then they would try to grab it, and it would go back in. Guys, it was a worm. It was a parasite. Like, they love to live in the I mean, they live all over the body, but it's like this alien movies. But they love the GI because all the nutrients go through there, and they rob you of nutrients, so you become even more nutrient deficient. Well, they're a parasite, right? And they create more free radicals in your body. bad recipe for disaster. I mean, it's a total recipe for disaster. You can't get your nutrients. You can't get rid of them. Oh, I couldn't believe it. I mean, I can't even imagine if something was sticking out of me like that. Oh, that freaked me out. Try to grab it. I gotta get this thing. Ah! You know what's funny is that it actually is in that book that I was showing you guys before. Even Jesus was apparently talking about parasites. I'll show you. It's really interesting. So in this book, he's telling people how to heal from certain things in their bodies. And one of Jesus's best methods for healing was nature and fasting, at least according to this book, which were from the Dead Sea Scrolls. I've talked about this one before. And in here, he's talking about these guy fasting, and one of them's sicker than all the rest. And everybody's like, man, that guy's just having a hard time. Even his eyes look like Joe Biden's eyes. They're just like, he's not even there. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that. I don't mean to be mean to the guy. I'm sure he's a really swell guy. He's just confused right now. Anyway, so while the guy's fasting for many days. Well, when you fast like that, you know, these critters inside of you, they're starving. And so what supposedly Jesus did is he took some milk and he put it in the sun, and it started getting hot, and the vapor started creating a smell, and he sat the guy right there and he started putting the cup to his nose and smelling it. And the guy's like just starving and sick. In fact, there's pictures, you know, just drawings, by the way. They're not like pictures. I think he was teaching him. Like, here's a bunch of sick people. He's teaching how to use the power of trees. But I thought it was a different, you know, he's talking to a bunch of people. I'm trying to find, well, it's in here somewhere. I guess I just can't find it real quick. But, oh, here they are. Like the decrepit and sick. And, you know, Jesus seems to be with someone. Anyway, so he holds this cup, guys. This guy's smelling it, and he's like literally dying, like, and this thing starts coming out of his mouth. And it's coming out of his mouth. Instead of his butt like this other guy, but out of his mouth. And Jesus grabs the sucker and pulls him out of this guy. And he grabs a rock and he smashes it and kills it. Wow. Yeah. Sounds pretty brutal, pretty violent, but you can read it if you want. You don't have to believe it, but, you know, there's interesting things. Hi, it's in the refrigerator. So, alrighty, guys. Well, and with that wonderful story of Jesus smashing a parasite with a rock, maybe I should go ahead and end it right here if you guys would like. It was a pleasure hanging out with you guys. I'm glad that the game was fun for you guys. It was pretty fun for me too. I think we can play that game more if you guys like. It just gives us topics to talk about while I'm making smoothies, showing you guys. Alicia's laughing. And so again, oh, did you hurt yourself? You want me to do it? So yeah, guys, any last questions before we go? Here. And let me show you guys how to unseal a jar. Because remember, when they're all sealed up, what I do is I grab two hands and I look for the jars. There's more space here. If you go to another side, there's less space. So I go to the more space side, which is lined up with me. Then I take two thumbs. So I grab the jar like this, then I push upwards. Ta-da! Yeah, if you just try to do like one or something and you don't got the right way, you could potentially hurt yourself because they're sharp. It's because my fingers are made of steel because of the hydrogen. It's made me so strong. Actually, my nails are so much stronger now. They used to be so weak. Anyway, very important to get all your nutrients, guys. I think you know. All right, let's see. Diane says, have a good one. Thank you, I will. RW says, thanks for your time. You're very welcome. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Have a good weekend. Till next time.